In this video, we're going to be talking about a tool that you probably have used before if you've ever had to give a presentation, and that is using slideshow presentations. So how can we use a slideshow in agriculture? Well, maybe we have some information that we want to express to somebody, that we wanted to deliver to somebody in a presentation. Maybe it's a list of different bulls, breeder bulls that we have that we want to give to a person who's potentially looking to maybe buy one of these bulls. And maybe we want to include pictures, and we want to possibly include some videos and some information on each one. Maybe you are creating a presentation to give to an absentee landowner about how their property is being used and what are some of the improvements you've done. Or maybe you're looking to create a presentation and send it to some potential buyers of another product that you're producing, or things of that nature. Maybe you're just going to come up with a presentation on some of the things you've been doing on the farm or ranch and show it to the community. So how can you do this and use a tool to help you with this? Well, you can use a slideshow presentation. Google actually has their own version of a slideshow presentation called Google Slides. One of the cool things about Google Slides is you can actually share it with other people, and you can share it with other individuals, so that way that you can collaborate on it and work on it together. Just like Google Sheets and with Google Docs, you can actually share it and work on it in real time with other people. So we're going to dive into how do we get to Google Sheets, how do we create some things in Google Sheets, and we're going to be talking about some of the things in that nature. So here I am on the main Google page, and I'm logged into my Casper College account, my school account. I'm going to go to these Google apps. I'm going to go to Drive. Now you could go to Slides right here. Personally, I like to do everything from Drive. You can create a Google Slides out of Drive, but I'm going to create it in Drive because it helps me remain more organized. So I'm going to go to Drive, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to your shared folder. Find your shared folder, that one that you shared with me, and open it up. And I'm going to create, now that we're in this shared folder, I'm going to create new. And I'm going to say a new Google Slides. So I'm going to create this new Google Slides, and it's going to give me this blank presentation. And one of the first things you see is over here to the right is all of these themes. So Google Slides already has some pre-made themes that you could choose from. So you could choose what they call this simple dark with a white font, black background. They've got some other ones on here. So you feel free to choose which one looks the best to you. Me, I'm going to go ahead and choose this slate. I kind of like the way this slate looks, so I'm going to choose it. So once I choose that theme, I can go ahead and exit out of this theme. Now you can go in there and actually create your own theme and do things like that. Personally, we're not going to do that in this video. You can just go ahead and choose a theme, or you can play around with trying to create your own theme as well if you really want to. But we're not going to get into that in this particular video. Now, if you don't choose a theme, or if you want to choose a theme later on, you can always come back up here to this change theme, this theme button. If you click on that theme button, it's going to bring up this menu over here to where you can continue to change to different themes if you want to. But we already got our theme picked, so I'm going to go ahead and click exit. Now, we've got this slide, and the first slide that automatically pulls up is our title slide. That's kind of the default of Google Slides. So let's go ahead and add a title to this. And we're just going to call this Hey. So maybe we're going to be talking about hay, or we're going to talk about hay for horses and cows. Maybe that's what our title is going to be, or hay, horses and cows. So maybe that's what we're going to go ahead and title it. Now, if you notice something, I didn't title my presentation first. Well, there's a reason why. I went ahead and titled it on this main slide first, but I didn't title this presentation like I normally do. Well, the reason why is if you type in this title right here, and you click right here to go ahead and title your presentation, it automatically, 9 times out of 10, it's going to automatically try to guess what that presentation title is. And for this example, it's going to be called Hay, Horses and Cows. It's going to automatically pre-fill to where I can just click off, and it's right there. Now, another thing that pops up is it gives us a place for a title, but also to click to add a subtitle. Well, I don't really want to add a subtitle. I don't really have a subtitle for this. So there's two things I can do. One, I can just leave it blank. just not add a subtitle. And the reason why is if I come up here to this present, that subtitle doesn't show up. It doesn't give me a place to click on it. It's just not there. Or if I wanted to get rid of that box, I could click on that box, click on the outside of the box, click on the border of the box. And that's important because right now if I press backspace or delete, it's just going to be trying to delete letters that aren't there. But if I click on the border of the box and I click delete, my delete button or my backspace button on my keyboard, it's going to get rid of that box for us to where maybe it looks a little bit cleaner while we're creating this presentation. So the next thing I want to show you is how do we add a new slide. So to add a new slide, we're just going to come up here to this plus box. And the default is this main type where it's going to ask for a title and then some text down here. So maybe our title is going to be Types of Hay. So then we can come down here and we're just going to click on that box and maybe we're going to add some different types of hay like alfalfa. Maybe we're going to talk about grass hay. And maybe that's the two main types. So we can go ahead and maybe we're going to talk about Timothy. And let's talk about different types of grass hay like Timothy. Coastal Bermuda. And maybe we're just going to add another one like possibly something like Johnson grass hay. So we've got different types of hay, but this doesn't look all that good right now because it's just kind of a plain Jane, everything's way left justified. What will make it look a lot nicer is to actually add bullets. So if we wanted to add bullets, we can actually highlight all of this and come up here to where it says bulleted list. So we can just click on bulleted list and it's going to throw it all into bullets. So maybe we want to go ahead and add kind of different sections of these bullets too, where maybe alfalfa is its own section, but grass hay is a different section, where Timothy, Coastal Bermuda, and Johnson grass all kind of fall under this grass hay section. So what we can do is now that they're all bullet pointed, is we can actually press tab. If we press tab, it moves it over like you just saw. So all I'm doing is pressing the tab button on my keyboard. So maybe I want to go ahead and add a new section. Well, now if I press enter, it automatically gives that bulleted point under that grass hay section. But now I want to make it a new section. So to move this bullet point back, I'm going to press shift tab. And maybe another type of hay is something like legume hay, which technically alfalfa would fall under, but let's just for sake of argument throw in there a legume hay. And then I can add something like maybe it's a clover hay or something of that nature. So we can actually, by using tab and shift tab, move these bullet points over as we create these bullet points. So let's go ahead and create a new slide as well. Now, not all of your slides are going to look like this, with everything being kind of left justified with the main title and then a main content. Maybe we want to go ahead and add a different layout to the slide. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to this layout and click. And you can see it actually gives us several different layouts, like a title slide, the section header, title and body. This is the one that pretty much defaults as we're adding new slides. Title in 2 columns, title only, title column and 1 text. And you can see there's different ones on here. So let's go ahead and what if we added a title and 2 column? Now this particular layout works very, very well for a comparison. So let's say, for example, we wanted to compare round bales versus small bales. Like maybe we're going to talk about big round bales versus small square bales. So we're going to go ahead and call this one the round bales section. And this one's going to be our small square bale section. So these are kind of our titles, right? So what if we wanted to come in here and bold these? So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to just come right here to the bold and click bold. kind of give it a little bit more of a distinction, especially whenever you see what we're about to do. So we go bold. So then maybe we want to add something like, and we're still boldest, we're going to unbold. We're going to say pros. And I want to make it this distinction as well. So I highlighted the word pros, and I'm going to say underline, just to kind of give it a little bit of a distinction. Over here, I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to do pros. You can see it's bolded right now, so I'm going to highlight that word, unbold, give it an underline. And then I'm going to come right here, and let's say that I want to add a numbered list, and I want to add 2 pros. So I'm just going to click number list. It's going to automatically throw off a number, and it's going to say pros, feeds, and we can see it's automatically underlining, so we're going to undo that. We're going to feeds more animals. Maybe another pro is it's less manual labor, and maybe I'm saying less manual labor because you're on a tractor now versus actually having to break apart the bales possibly by hand or doing things of that nature. Now I want to add just 2 pros, and I want to add 2 cons. So let's add some cons. I'm going to underline that to give it some separation. Press enter. I don't want this underlined, so I'm going to throw on another number list. And let's say that this one requires machinery to feed. Maybe another con is increased overall waste. So let's talk about some pros of small square bales. And again, we can do the same thing. We can add some numbering in there. And we can go ahead and do some underlining and things like that. So that's how you can kind of add some numbering and some bullet points and underlining and bolding and do some things to really make these PowerPoint presentations look pretty good. So the next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to add some pictures in here. And you can see that it threw off another comparison. Well, I don't really want a comparison on this one, so I'm going to change my layout. I'm going to go back to this title and body. Matter of fact, we're not really going to be doing much text on here, so I just want title only. So I'm going to change it to title only. And we're going to say, maybe we're going to do pictures of hay. So I want to go ahead and insert a picture here. So I'm going to say insert. Now, right here at the top it says insert image. I can go to upload from a computer, and it's going to bring in some of the images that I have on my computer, and maybe I want to insert this picture of a hayfield that has some plots marked out on it. So I'm going to say go ahead and open. So it went ahead and inserted that picture. So maybe I'm going to say picture of hay field. So I just went ahead and it said insert image, upload from computer, and then I just searched and I found the image that I wanted. So we're going to go ahead and move that to the center. And what's kind of another cool thing is, a lot of times if you're trying to center these things up, you see as I got close to the center, it automatically kind of locked that picture into place in the center and it threw off that red bar. It's because Google Sheets often tries to help you organize things a little bit better too. So that red bar is indicating the center, and then that top will be at the bottom of that text box. So it helps us kind of line things up a little bit. So we have a picture of a hayfield that we inserted off of our computer. Now we're going to say maybe we're going to do a picture of hay. So I want to go ahead and insert a picture of hay, only this time I want to search the web. And as you can see down here, you can do other aspects like look it up on Google Drive, on your photos, by URL, camera. These operate in a lot of the same ways as the two that we're showing you up here. So we're going to go ahead and search the web though. So what it does is it pulls up this Google Images box over here. And we're going to go ahead and search for pictures, and we're going to just say maybe round bales. So we click on round bales. Hey, this looks like a good picture. We're talking about round bales and square bales. So we're going to go ahead and click on that picture right there. And then down here, we are going to say insert. Let me move my little camera out of the way. So after we clicked on the bail, click on the image we want, and we can say insert. And it's actually going to go ahead and put that picture in there for us. Let's go ahead and center it up real quick. And now we've went ahead and inserted our pictures into our particular slideshow. Now the next thing I want to show you is how do we insert a video. So whenever you're inserting a video, we don't want you to just copy and paste a link in there because that doesn't work as well. We want you to actually embed a video. So what we're going to do is we're going to say insert video. And it gives us a couple of options. We can search by URL, or bring something in from Google Drive. So we're going to actually just go ahead and search YouTube real quick. And I want to say baling hay. So then it's going to bring up all of these different videos that actually pertains to it. So you could actually search through some of these videos. And let's say that we are going to, maybe we want to use this video, working on the farm with tractors, baling hay for kids. So you can actually click this button right here, or that video, and say select. And actually, I didn't really want to place it in that particular slideshow, so I'm going to delete that one, or in that particular slide. So I'm going to add a new slide and say video of baling hay, and I'm going to go ahead and go through that same process, insert video. It's still pulling up baling hay, so I'm going to jump down here to that one that I wanted to insert. Probably not going to be able to find it anymore. Maybe I'm going to say baling hay for kids. Working on the farm with tractors. This one right here. I'm going to select that video, say select. It's going to automatically put it in here. So the reason I want you to, this video is what we call embedded. We didn't just place a link in here. We went ahead and embedded it in this presentation. Now what does that mean? Well, whenever I click on present, and it brings up that particular video, we don't see a link that takes us to an outside website. Instead, we can literally click on this play button right here.
Today, we got me and Hudson, and what are we going to do?
And it actually will play that video from the slideshow. That video is embedded in there. We do not want to ever just place links in there because the links may not work. And if you have to click on a link, well, it takes you to an outside website off of your particular slideshow. So we want to, as much as possible, just go ahead and embed videos in our slideshow if we can. And you've seen me talk about it a couple times of going ahead and whenever we're ready to present this particular the slideshow to somebody, we can just say this present. We have a couple other different options. We can say like this presenter view or present from beginning. So if we're already in the middle of our slideshow, we can just say present from beginning, and it will take us back to that beginning. Now, the second and last thing I want to go ahead and show you is this share button. Of course, you're going to need to share these, or if you're collaborating with somebody, you're going to need to be able to share this particular presentation with somebody else. So you can go ahead and click share, add people to the group, just like you normally do whenever you're sharing it. So you go up here, share, and you can add different team members that you're going to be working with, add them as collaborators into this particular project, just like before. Now, I want to give you another little tidbit whenever you are adding slideshows and working on slideshows, and that is to use the 6x6 rule. So what is the 6x6 rule? Well, the 6x6 rule is saying that you should have probably right around 6 bullet points per slide, and the bullet points shouldn't really have more than about 6 words on them. Really and truthfully, a slide really shouldn't have much more than about 36 to 40 words, and that's on the max. Well, why is that? Well, you got to remember, a slideshow is not meant for you to just read off of. A slideshow is meant to be an aid in helping you present this to somebody else. You don't want a bunch of words, you definitely don't want paragraphs, and you really don't want sentences on your slideshows. And the reason why is if you put that up on slideshows with words and paragraphs, people are going to be trying to either read everything that's on the slideshow and they're not going to be listening to you, or they're just going to get burned out on reading everything because they're coming there to listen to you talk about things that they just tune out. So you really don't want to have paragraphs. You don't want to have a long sentences. So the rule of thumb is use a 6x6, which means really try to keep it about 6 bullet points. And on here, you can see I've got 7 bullet points so far. So I'm breaking that rule a little bit, but you don't want to include long sentences. So a rule of thumb is keep it about 6 words per bullet point and then be done. So that's essentially what the 6x6 rule is. Whenever you're creating these presentations, always create them and act as if you're about to get up and give these presentations to somebody. So always make them as if you're going to get up there and give those presentations, and you really don't want a lot of words on there whenever and having to read off of those slides. But essentially, those are some little tips and tricks on how to add a video and how to add images, and then how to add bullet points and underlining into a Google Slides presentation.